Welcome everyone. We are the All Strung Out String Quartet, and this is Ashley on first violin, Regan on second violin, Douglas on viola, and Alan on cello. And that was the Ashokan Farewell, which is by Unger. He's a great American folk musician. And that was featured in the Kinberg Civil War series on PBS. In this program today, we're going to play 8 pieces. And stopping between each one, we're going to talk about, do questions and answers about string quartets, the instruments, the music that we play, and a list of what we're going to play is right there on the chair if you're interested in the music. So the first question is, what is a string quartet? The first question is, what is a string quartet? As the name implies, the string quartet is made up of 4 instruments. Traditionally, it's 2 violins, a viola, and a cello. The first violin plays the melody, and most of the time, it plays in a high voice. The second violin is the same instrument as the first violin, and plays also supporting melody and harmony at times. And the viola is a little larger than a violin, has a little bit lower voice, and it plays harmony most of the time. The cello is the largest of the 3 instruments, and it sometimes plays the melody, but also does supporting melodies for violins and viola. So some pieces, like our next piece, were written for a whole string orchestra, and we adapted it for a string quartet. And it is called The Cliffs of Moher by Susan Day. She's a contemporary American composer. She's a classical music composer. Most of the time when we play our instruments, we're trying to play 1 string at a time. In this piece, we play 2 strings at a time.
On purpose.
On purpose. And we're trying to actually mimic bagpipes. By the way, if you hear us tune in between pieces, it's because our instruments are wooden instruments. Changes in temperature, humidity, people come in and out, that kind of thing, we have to tune off. Okay, next question is, how do these instruments make the sounds that they do? When you move your bow over the string, there are micro tiny spikes on the bow hair that grab onto the spring and cause it to vibrate. That vibration is transferred via a bridge, which is this piece of precisely carved piece of maple here. And that gets transferred to the top of the instrument. And then there's a sound post, which is a little dowel between the top and the back that connect them together. And that transfers the sound back to the back. And together they work together to produce the sound. Also, the F-holes here allow air to come in and out of the body of the instrument. That helps produce the sound. Actually, nearly every part of the instrument contributes towards the sound that's made. Everything from the fingerboard to the tailpiece to the end pin in the cello, even the wood on the bow, all contribute toward the sound that gets made. Okay, Japanese anime fans will appreciate our next piece. It's Merry-Go-Round of Life by Joe Hisaishi, something like that, from the movie Howl's Moving Castle. So the next question is, how do you play the various notes on one of these instruments? Violins have 4 strings. This is not right. Violins have 4 strings, E, A, D, and G, from high to low, each slightly different thickness. The smaller it is, the higher the note. Violas and cellos have A, E, G, and C strings. When you press your finger down on the string, it shortens the string and therefore produces a different note, a higher note. How do you know where to put your finger? Is the next question. Well, unlike guitars or sitars and some other instruments, there are no fret marks on a violin or a string instrument. So you learn through trial and lots of error where to put your fingers. And eventually your brain and muscles remarkably just kind of know where the notes are, and you can play the notes that you want to play. You may have noticed that we rock our fingers back and forth when we play. That's called vibrato. And it is done to make a richer tone, like people do with vocal cords when they sing. So Ashley, can you play just a plain note and then with vibrato? Hopefully you can hear the difference there, it's a little richer. Okay, so we like to play a mixture of classical and newer pieces. The next piece is Habanera from Carmen by Bizet. It's a classical piece and it's been used on many movies, TV shows, Bugs Bunny cartoons. Parents, you can explain to your kids who Bugs Bunny is. Next question is, how are these instruments made? They are made by craftsmen called luthiers, or luthiers, depends on where you're from. The techniques and geometry of how to make a string instrument, one that sounds good, was worked out many hundreds of years ago. Modern instrument makers just follow these patterns worked out by the old masters. For example, for a cello, there is a Stradivarius pattern, which you probably heard of that one, and a Montagnana pattern, among others. The Stradivarius pattern is a normal size and produces a sweeter sound. The Montagnana pattern is slightly larger and produces a bolder, deeper sound. My cello is a Stradivarius pattern, and it was made about 3.5 years ago, not in 1700. I wouldn't be here. Starting at the top, the scroll, the neck and the sides and the back are all made out of maple. The top is made out of spruce. The pegs and the fingerboard and usually the tailpiece are made out of ebony wood. Mine is a composite material, so it's not. The strings are wound stainless steel. The bows are made out of real horsehair, bleached horsehair, preferably from Mongolian horses. And good bows are made out of Pernambuco wood from Brazil. We'll have some questions in a little bit. I'll be happy to answer your question. Mine is made out of carbon fiber. So some music adapts itself especially well to the four voices of a string quartet. And our next piece is one of them, and it's called Danny Boy. So the next question is, how much do these instruments cost? While you can buy an instrument like a violin on Amazon for $49, you don't want to. Decent music instruments cost many hundreds of dollars, and advanced instruments are thousands of dollars and up. And of course, the old great instruments can cost millions of dollars. Why, you ask? Because their wood is so old and seasoned, and their dimensions so perfect, that they have a marvelous sound, and they are actually a joy to play. So while you can spend too little on an instrument, you basically cannot spend too much on one. And the bow too. How long does it take to learn how to play? That's the next question. So you can be playing your basic Mary Had a Little Lamb in a couple of days. How you progress from there depends on how much practicing you do every day. All of us have been playing for many years, and you can teach yourself to play, but it is highly recommended to take lessons from a teacher who will teach you in the proper way, help you with problems that you're having, etc. Douglas here is a cello teacher. On viola, yeah, playing on viola. So our next piece is for you 1980s pop rock fans. It is a fun adaptation of the Madonna classic Material Girl. And it sounds like it came from Bridgerton, but it didn't. Next question is, how is it unique playing in a quartet? Well, playing in a quartet or other ensemble requires you to listen to the other players as well as to yourself, making sure that you are staying together and are supporting each other. We are all orchestra members too, but we especially enjoy the intimacy and togetherness of a quartet. which is sometimes lost in a big orchestra section. You cannot hide in a quartet. Where do we get our music? Is the next question. We happen to like a mixture of classical music and contemporary music. So for much of our music, if not most of it, we take a piece that interests us, we figure out the chord parts, we put it in the music software, and we pop out the music for these four instruments. And there's a fair amount of free music out there on the internet too. Okay, our next piece is a Katy favorite from about a dozen years ago called Firework. Okay, before we close with our final piece, are there any questions that anyone has about quartets or these instruments or the music that we did not cover?
Are they ready for the pop?
Please.
How many people are in a quartet? Very good. Okay, we will close with one of our favorite pieces, which is a bit challenging to play. It's the first movement for the Bach Concerto for Two Violins. This was adapted from a concerto for 2 violins and a full orchestra and a harpsichord. I could go on and on about how great Bach is, but I won't, and I will instead just tell you that you probably should listen to the interactions between the 2 violins. Thank you for attending our program. We have a couple of violins set up here. We have a full-size violin and a half-size violin for the little ones that you can hold and try if you want. And we will be glad to answer any questions you might have about the instruments or the music. So thank you.